Well, the city of Jamestown is planning to use $25 million from the American Rescue Plan to build a municipal broadband system. Now, the former chairman of the City Board of Utilities is coming forward saying the plan could be financially dangerous for the city. He spoke exclusively with 2 on Your Side's Nate Benson.
There's no good municipal broadband community that hasn't struggled, and some of them have run deficits.
Gregory Rabb is a 14-year veteran of the Jamestown Board of Public Utilities, or rather he was. 4 of those years he was chairman. He wasn't reappointed to his post and his tenure ended in February. He says,
I paid the price for speaking what I thought was right.
It was concerns over the plan to use $25 million of American Rescue Plan funds to build the first citywide municipal broadband system in the state that Rabb says cost him his role on the BPU.
As if we take on municipal broadband, if we don't make money on it, everybody who lives in the city of Jamestown is an owner of the BPU, and we have to pick up any loss, just like we do now with electric, just like we do now with all of our utilities, because we own them.
Which is true.
That's been this way since this was set up in the early 1900s.
Jamestown takes on all the risk because they own all the infrastructure.
And I think that's one of my major concerns, because we have private sector broadband already.
Jamestown is actually in a better position than Buffalo in a sense because they have 2 providers that have fully deployed across the city.
It doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
And broadband isn't like electricity, which you can easily pass along the grid.
When New York City is short on electric, or somewhere on the state or national grid, we sell it to the grid. And we make money on it, which with broadband, nobody outside the service area is going to say, hey, I want to get into your system. It just doesn't make sense, especially when you're surrounded by private sector.
The city released the results of a study it commissioned last week to the public. Since then, there's been a growing sense of a need for patience as the city treads in somewhat uncharted waters.
But you look at some of the existing municipal systems, and there aren't a whole lot of them. They're all subsidized with some outside government money.
Even an editorial in the Jamestown Post-Journal pointed out a 5-year-old report about the status of municipal broadband projects across the country. While it's true many of them aren't having the desired impacts both financially and technically, Mayor Sundquist isn't ignoring the data.
Right, we're in a bit of a gray area. And I think that's why it's so important to create a committee made up of members of the public, governing boards, to really determine if this is the best path forward. But I think that's why it's so important to have that public input component.
The mayor did announce a city-created broadband commission that will explore this report and recommend next steps. That commission will comprise of members from
our city council, our public utility, as well as members of the public will be invited to join.
I will volunteer to be on the advisory committee. I'll even volunteer to chair the damn thing.
As for the idea that Rabb wasn't reappointed to the BPU for being outspoken, Mayor Sundquist says it was a simple instance of hearing new voices.
We're able to add new people into different roles across the city, something that my administration has been doing since day one, taking over. The prior administration was here for about 20 years. And so we're really just bringing in new people for some fresh ideas on our different boards and commissions across the city.
In Jamestown, Nate Benson, Channel 2 News.